Charles Leiter passed away very suddenly. The papers are missing.
Witchcraft, you know. It's all a load of nonsense, really, these trials.
Kirk here had an encounter in the morgue.
I said I don't want to talk about it, goddammit.
He got these rare books and then engaged talented artists to make forgeries.
Oh, the other guy's real sweet. Abner Wick. Ooh, dreams in the witch house.
What have you done?
Down below me, I saw the twitching body of Anthony Flinders. It was his turn.
He's murdered Lydia. He's lost it. He's totally lost it this time.
I need to get out of here right now.
We should leave now.
Scheiße, I never found out about his hands. Did either of you ask about his hands?
My, what is going on? The skull itself is unnaturally elongated. There is no need to be shy in my presence. After all, we all wear masks, don't we?
It's magic!
Yes!
You hear this sort of smashing noise, and emerging from the back door is Dr. Duckworth, Son's mask.
Phil, oh my goodness, Phil, you'll not believe what's been going on in this place.
Just as you pull the car out of the driveway and set off, you get to the first junction, and that's when Kirk's screaming begins. The Apocalypse Players present Crimson Letters. A Call of Cthulhu 7th edition scenario by Alan Bligh. Starring Joseph Chance as Dr. Jonas Steinweg, Danann McAleer as Professor Duckworth, Dan Wheeler as Kirk Sleep, P.I. With our special guests, Doug McAndrew as Dr. Althea Montrose and Mike Perceval-Maxwell as P.J. Mahoney. The Keeper of Arcane Lore is Dominic Allen. Chapter 12, The Autopsy, or I Smell Dead People.
And it begins...
Sleep, are you all right back there? What is it?
And it begins in a curious way because it's the mumbling. Suddenly, it's sort of the mumbling increases in volume. I found myself sat in the back of the car and we're driving around the corner and I couldn't believe the doctor was driving. I never knew he could see out of those eyes, but he didn't wear his mask anymore. And I could see his face in the rearview mirror. He's making this sort of guttural sound, and then he starts sort of barking as well. Where's that little doggy? I gotta find the doggy. I gotta find the doggy. I gotta find that little pooch. Where's that mud?
Montrose looks over to Duckworth and says, Ethel, don't mind Mr. Sleep. He's a lovely man, really. He's just a wee bit unstable. Talks to himself from time to time.
I'm terribly sorry, yes. No, I know he...
And then he seems to come out of it. He'll be absolutely fine. Don't you worry.
He will be. He will be.
And the taxi driver turns around in his seat and he goes, so, yeah, having a busy night?
Same, different day, same shit.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it. You think you got problems? You want to spend one day in my shoes?
I would give my last dollar to be spent this day in your shoes, but believe me. Now, please, can you take me to the morgue?
I think Steinweg looks over his shoulder. Presumably, I'm imagining that this corpulent figure is in the middle of the back seat.
Yeah, spilling over onto both of you.
Well, I sort of imagined I'd gone up front with his Mahoney had ditched the car, so I was going to try and look after Duckworth, but Duckworth seems to be driving okay. So I look back over my shoulder at Wick to see what his expression is.
It's this.
So he is affected. He's not sort of
He's certainly...
The guy sitting beside him screaming his head off.
and the woman next to him is whittering on at Ethel in the driver's seat.
Ethel is probably driving whilst looking at nothing but herself in the mirror.
And you have the audacity to call Abner Wick a monster.
Your perspective, I guess.
You can see his face is one of polite discomfort, and he's gripping the chairs in front of him quite tightly.
And Montrose looks over at Wick at this point, and she points at Duckworth and says, "Oh, Mr. Wick, you'll never believe Ethel. She egged Winston Churchill in Dundee. Oh, it was hilarious. You want to have seen it. The old blowhard withering on the way that he does, and there she goes. An egg square in the face. Oh, I tell you what, everyone was absolutely ending themselves. I think that's the last time we came back to Dundee."
Pull over. I saw the pooch, pull over.
Gosh, I'm beautiful.
Luckily Steinweg has spent some time in some asylums, not as a patient.
He's spending some time in one right now.
But this sort of mobile asylum. What are the rules, Dom, on sedatives? If I was to stop off at a pharmacy, would I be able to make an emergency request?
Probably not at this hour.
This hour. Well, what kind of emergency system is that? Let me write a strongly worded letter to the American people in 1924.
You're on your way to the morgue, though.
Yeah,
so
that's true. Maybe I could get some...
Maybe we don't
good,
need a whole extra scene where we gun up a pharmacy.
I like it.
You can just do it at the morgue.
Yeah, great.
So despite the obvious duress that everyone is under, you do eventually arrive at the at the morgue. It's probably a long enough journey that the bouts of madness have started to come to an end as you step out of the vehicle. Just as a taxi pulls up with PJ in it.
He's getting out saying, and his face was nothing but torn to shreds. It was torn to shreds. No eyelids.
The taxi driver just going, "Ah!"
As he drives.
How much do I owe you?
Give the change.
He just shuts the door and drives off.
Oh, I don't know. You don't need to be like that about it.
And he winds down the window and he says, "And I don't want to hear any more about your fucking kids."
Oh wait, I didn't tell you about young Tommy.
Jimmy Bob.
Always got his face in books, that boy.
So I think if Duckworth stops the car, I think I get out as quickly as I possibly can and run round the front of it to his side of the car, avoiding being close to Wick. And are you getting out, Duckworth?
Yes. I've got to be shown. They've all got to see my face.
Yeah, and I
wait, no, my bout of madness is sort of ended. But I am getting out, yeah.
But perhaps I offer you a hand anyway, and I begin to usher you round the front of the car, and at the front of the car, I pull on your sleeve to stop you. And I say, also, I understand you had some kind of revelation, some sort of miniature breakdown, but you must pull yourself together, Dr. Duckworth.
Yes.
You must manage to see that we are now in the eye of the storm. I cannot hold it together much longer. I feel the threads of insanity pulling at my very fabric.
Yes, you and I, let's hold back.
We are the last professionals left here.
Come along, everyone.
No, here. Stay with me for one moment. We are the last professionals. We need these men and women. They have skills. But I cannot possibly hold them all together without you. I see that you have gone through something remarkable, a change.
Yes.
Your double self has been revealed.
My face, my true face.
And when he says double self, he steps back like he's having a revelation. He goes, "Yeah, the doppelganger. Of course."
Yeah. The twice walker.
Yes.
The doppelganger.
That walks both ways.
Well.
My God.
It does.
My God, I've been so stupid.
Legs are askew.
I've been so stupid all along. It's the doppelganger. She is the doppelganger. It's caught.
Yes.
She is the double. She is Mason. She thinks she is Mason, doesn't she?
I think at that moment, I realised that Steinweg has more of a sort of sane eye on things than I do. I have a sort of moment of clarity where I realise I've been slightly... I take the papers out of my pocket. You may remember that I found the papers. I think they were covered in... There was blood on them or something, but I was handed a set of papers by our friend in the house, which I've had on my person up until this point. I think I hand them to Steinweg and say...
I look very confused. What?
See what you make of these. I fear that my mental faculties are somewhat compromised. One professional to another. See what you make of them. Are they merely scribblings?
As he says, are they merely scribblings? I'm sort of panicked about the fact that there's something he's obviously revealing something I didn't know anything about. So I just kind of, I thrust them into my jacket, but not even into my pocket. I'm just kind of looking to see where Wick is and the others. And no doubt they're doing all their stuff, so...
I can tell you where Wick is. I have my hand on his arm, and I'm saying, tell me what breed is that dog you keep back there in the shop? He's like, Sorry about that. I don't know what came over me.
He looks you dead in the eye. He says, my dear, I don't own a dog.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I think it is someone else.
I prefer small, talkative birds.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can see the attraction there as well. Beautiful animals.
Oh.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, seems we agree on that then.
A talkative bird is better than a talkative broad, I tell you that much.
Oh, God.
At this point, PJ joins you and says, you made it. Are we going in?
I think the sooner the better.
Is everybody, what is it you say, compass mentis?
Aye, absolutely fine, Mr. Mahoney. Althea's completely impassive and doesn't seem to... she seems to be fine.
PJ is very, very... very determined not to be looking at Monty's face. It freaks him out.
Yeah. It's very horrible. It's an absence of face rather than a face.
I wonder, Dr. Duckworth, just for the sake of the passers-by and so forth, if you wouldn't mind replacing your...
I smashed it.
You smashed?
No point hiding one's true self.
I'm sorry to hear that. Well, if you say so, I suppose you know best.
We mustn't hide these things from ourselves.
Who's at the front? Who gets to the door first?
Well, me and Jonas Steinweg were having a moment where we sort of transferred the papers.
Yes, I think we're probably a bit delayed.
Yeah, Montrose strides up the stairs and gives the door
Authority.
A knock.
Can you give me a spot hidden roll then, please?
Can. Uh-oh. 67, I think, is a fail. I'm almost sure it will be. I don't even think I've got ranks. No, that's a fail.
Push the roll. Push the roll, Althea. Push the roll.
For God's sake.
What?
That's a 1 in 4 chance.
No, you're just trying to encourage her to do something undignified, like fall on the stairs and smash her face in more. She's already been headbutted by a mental patient.
Yes, he does have a broken nose.
Yeah.
Everyone's had a very long day.
It's up to you. Entirely your choice.
So you walk into the morgue. You only notice as you touch the door that you think it might have already been open. Just a bit, just a crack. And as you step through, you see that there's a desk lamp on the reception desk, but then there's no other lights on. It's a sort of green, visored desk lamp.
Yeah.
Gives off this emerald light. There's no one at the desk, though.
Hello? She opens the door. I don't know that anyone's at the desk here.
Is that usual? Should maybe they've just gone to use the facilities.
Mr. Sleep, what do you make of this? I say.
Yeah, don't worry. I leave this with me. And I walk up to the desk and I say, hey, is anyone there? I come to see my cousin.
Yeah, of
I've come
course.
to attend the autopsy of my cousin. I came all the way across the state. The poor guy, I don't know what happened to him. Is somebody there? I gotta see his body.
Mr. Sleep, I'm not sure if anyone is there, Mr. Sleep.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Excuse me, I was thinking of someone else.
Yeah, you know, Dr. Duckworth, I did read a paper recently about returning to the scene of a crisis or a mental breakdown. It's not always good. Sometimes it can be.
Sometimes a fabulous idea. Other times not.
Sometimes it can be very.
I got a feeling about this. I don't like it.
Would you be happy with accompanying Dr. Duckworth? Mr. Vick and Dr. Montrose and Mr. Mahoney to the autopsy? Perhaps Mr. Sleep and I should stay outside.
Yes, of course. I think perhaps seeing a man cut open, even for medical purposes, may be a step too far for someone in a fragile state of mind.
I'm not in a fragile state of mind, but I don't mind watching the door, if that's what you mean. Also, I saw some nice-looking squirrels out there that maybe need a little bit of closer attention.
Yeah, Mr. Vick, what do you think? Do you think it's all right that the two of us stay out here while the four of you go in?
I feel that we should all
attend,
bear witness to this investigation.
We should stay together. There's something. I got a bad feeling about
bear
this.
witness.
Yeah,
Where's
it's
the bear?
a good idea. Also, in which case, Mr. Sleep, I must have one quick statement with you, which is I think that you are about to enter into a return to the scene where you faced something. Now is a good opportunity for you to return anew, refreshed, and with the ability to know that you can withstand everything that will be here, because it will be different. It will not be the same as the first time you were here.
Yeah, why are you treating me like I'm some kind of mental case?
No, I'm not. I'm not. And merely speaking to you as a friend must speak to someone who has experience. I've not been in there. You have been in there. You have been a warrior, and you have faced the battle. I have not. And I'm saying I will need protection, as will Dr. Montrose and Mr. Mahoney and Mr. Vick and Mr. Duckworth, and you will be the...
I should come with you then, you know.
You will be the man
with my 45.
help us protect us. Yeah, you will not need your 45 to protect us. You will need...
Well, maybe I will, maybe I won't. You know, I'll be the best judge of that.
Of course, always. Very good. Yeah, Mr. Mahoney, if you are ready.
As you're speaking, Mr. Mahoney is taken out of a holster under his jacket a .38 revolver, and he's checking that it's loaded.
And by
Looking a bit kind of concerned about the situation here without a receptionist. And come on, keep your wits about you. I got a bad feeling here. I got that kind of sixth sense, you know. Something ain't right here.
So are you walking towards the room that you were in before?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you turn the corner and you see the long corridor. It's pitch dark, though. There's a window at the very end of the corridor where a little bit of moonlight is getting in, and the doors either side of you are closed. But as you approach the autopsy room,
Can I check the light switch to see if there's a light if the light is working in the corridor?
yeah, it isn't.
Can I make a case for being a security guard having a flashlight on me?
Yeah, I think you can have a flashlight for sure.
So I'll shine that down. I've got my gun in my other hand, which I'm holding.
I think I actually reach for Mahoney's hand or arm as he's doing that, but I'm too late, and I see the clicks, but my hand meets your arm anyway, and I sort of give you a meaningful look and whisper, "I'm just worried about telling other people that we're here."
Steinweg and Mahoney, as you're sort of in with the light there, can you both give me spot hidden rolls?
I suspect it's all too late. Ah, damn it.
That is a hard success.
Yeah, I fail. I'm too engaged with him. He's wired. I'm coked up. I'm wired.
Yeah.
I'm gripping onto him.
Mahoney's on high alert. Yeah.
Mahoney, while Steinweg's talking to you and touching your arm, you notice the door of the autopsy room is open, and there's a streak of what looks like blood against the door handle, like fingers going down diagonally
On the outside of the door.
Yeah, but the door's open, so it's sort of standing out into the corridor.
Okay.
And the blood's coming on the inside of the door.
Oh, right, so it's sort of like the further away door as the door's open. Okay, I think I'm with you, yeah. There's no light on inside that room then, no?
No.
I'll kind of tap Steinweg on the hand and point towards the door. Look, see on the door. Blood.
Just as you say that, you hear a voice behind the entire group that's just come in, presumably through the front door, and it says, "Well, well, well, look what's going on." And as you all turn, you see it's Harland Roach,
Yeah.
Leiter's rival. "Where's Anthony?"
Mr. Flinders.
"Yeah, where's Anthony?"
Oh, I'm afraid to say that he was hospitalized.
"I know that he was hospitalized, you German son of a bitch."
Now, Mr. Roach, there's no need for
Yeah, there's no need for that. No need for that kind of language.
I'm not going to be lectured by a glorified caretaker and a lunatic.
German son of a bitch.
The lunatic and the glorified caretaker swing round to look at him, and one of them's holding a torch, and both of them are holding guns.
Yeah.
You don't intimidate me.
Are you sure about that? You want me to roll for it?
We got a bit of a situation here.
I know you've got a situation. I spoke to Anthony in the hospital, and I know what you're up to. He's been telling me everything. He's been telling me you've been snooping around. You're not here to help the faculty. You're here to do the bidding of that bitch Amelia Court. Admit it.
I don't know what you're talking about, but we got a situation here. There's something going on here right now.
Yes, the autopsy, and I'm going to be here to witness it.
There's no lights. The lights are all out. There's blood on the door of the autopsy room.
He's right.
Whoa.
What?
Yeah, he's right.
I would recommend you keep your temper in check, Mr. Roach.
I don't know. I maybe recommend Mr. Roach go first. He can lead the way if he's so keen to get in there.
All we're doing is exactly what the Dean asked us to do, Mr. Roach, so if you wouldn't mind just keeping
It's Professor Roach.
tongue in your head.
And there's no way to talk about a lady as well.
One professor to another. I think we can decide on a language. And I step forward into the light.
Sanity roll, please.
At that point, he looms into the light like a living dead.
Yes, my torch shines onto Monty's face.
Yeah, let's see how he copes.
Guys, I think the five of us would make an excellent mythos group.
Yeah.
We could form a cult. This is good.
Yeah.
Got the skills.
He loses one sanity point. He actually succeeded on his roll, though, so
He sees worse in the mirror every morning.
he sort of recoils.
Yeah.
He recoils in horror, and he's like, I knew it was bad under there. I didn't realize it was that bad.
God almighty.
Well, Harland, pleasure to meet you for the first time.
If you're so good at doing this job, then why haven't you found the papers yet, huh? And where is Anthony? I know he was with you.
Professor Roach, we are conducting this investigation in our own manner and in our own due course, and I would ask you, as a gentleman here said, to keep a civil tongue in your head. We have been employed by your superior, I might add, in order to follow out this investigation, and we are not answerable to you. So, if you don't mind, please stay quiet while we do our job. Thank you.
Well said.
Very well spoken, Mr. Mahoney, says Abnerwick.
Thank you.
Well, are we going to this autopsy or not?
Yeah, I think that sounds like a pretty good idea, Roach. Why don't you and me stick together?
Where's Wheatcraft? Wheatcraft! He shouts down the corridor. His voice echoes.
He ain't here, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, we ain't seen no sign of Wheatcraft.
If you don't mind, we're right in the middle of something right now when you interrupted us, so just hold your water there for a few moments while we check this out.
What time is it now? They said it was going to be 8. Showed the time, it was 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock, yeah.
I will say, I know I've maybe let you folks down a couple of times today, but I'm feeling pretty confident in my abilities right now. So, you wanted me to take the lead, see if I can sneak in there, So check the joint out, make sure no one's hiding around any corners.
Can you...
What's even going on?
Listen, Roach, you just pipe down. Pipe the fuck down, Roach.
There ain't no... Mahoney at this point is just ignoring Roach.
It's outrageous.
There ain't no light in there. Can you see in the dark?
No, that's a good question. I'd say I got about 3 and 4 chances seeing something at the best of times. So I don't know what we make that in the dark, but...
Look at the blood, though. Look at the blood. It's curious. It's the grip of a man, isn't it?
Tell you what, Sleep. Tell you what we'll do. We'll go up together, yeah? You take one side of the door, I'll take the other side of the door. You get ready, I'll shine the light in. If there's anything there, you can deal with it, yeah?
That sounds like a plan to me. Is that all right with everyone else? I mean, I like to work alone, but, today, maybe I feel a bit differently about things.
If anybody can back you up, I think it's Mr. Mahoney. Perhaps we have another light source, Dr. Montrose.
I don't have
a lamp or a candle or something. And I start to look around and just kind of gently start to walk away from Wick and the group, potentially, therefore, towards anything that looks like it might be a shelf or a light source. Or
back towards the office.
No, does it go further down, or is it just a door and that's it?
Oh, no, the corridor continues. There are rooms either side, but you'd have to walk past the door to get to them.
I see. Okay, right. I was imagining they're going through the door.
Oh, maybe they are.
Yeah.
I suggest what we do, Mahoney, is we get down low. So the doors, I'm assuming the doors have windows in the top half. Is that right?
One of the doors is open. Is it like a double door, or is it just a single door into the autopsy?
It's just a single door,
and it's sitting open, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
They have very small windows in them, like letterbox.
But one is open.
The door that where you last viewed the body is open.
And there's blood smears on the inside of it,
right.
And we can see them, yeah.
Mm.
I was going to say, it's not the same room we encountered our student friend hiding in the locker.
He would have been next door.
That's the next door one, yeah.
Excellent.
Listen, I'll shade over this flashlight, so we got just enough to see our way down. And when we get to the door, we'll get ready. I'll put full beam inside, and you can deal whatever's in there.
Let's do it.
Is that okay with everybody else?
Do you mind if we find a candle or something up here?
Sure.
Just to clarify, who's going into the room?
What are we waiting for Steinbeck to find?
No. I'm waiting for you to go first. That's fine.
Okay. We're gonna creep up to go kind of on either side of the door, which I guess means Sleep will have to kind of cross over the door to get to the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
Then I'll shine the light in while he kind of covers the room with his 45, and if there's any absolute horrors in there, he'll obviously start screaming or whatever.
Yeah, that's more or less the plan.
You go in, you see that the table is laid out ready for the autopsy. The tools are all there. There's a table with notes laid out. There is a sheet on the floor. There is no body, and as you follow, there is a trail of blood that leads across the floor. Not loads of blood, but some, that leads to the door that connects to the next room, which is also open.
I want to take this door. You want to?
Yeah. So
I'll go around the other door. So there's like 2 doors into the room, one from the corridor, one from the room in.
Yeah.
So are you going to go down the corridor and I'll go from the inside?
Sure.
So we make that plan.
Okay.
And then maybe on your way in the corridor, you could maybe let the others know the situation.
Okay. Yeah.
What's everyone else doing then?
I was... What's the light like outside? Presumably there's no electricity in the building at the moment. So there's no...
There is, because there's a light. There was a light on up at the desk right up the top.
There's a light on the reception.
Just down this corridor, there's no light. Conveniently enough.
So the corridor is very dark, except for the very end of the corridor where there is a window.
I'm staying next to Roach because, I know him professionally.
Yeah, Montrose is hanging back. She doesn't want to investigate dark
But those who are sort of a little bit closer to the room, it's like, there's no body in the autopsy room, but there's a trail of blood into the next room. We're going to check it out.
Good luck.
And then I'll go to the door. Thank you. And see what I can see in through the window. Presumably it's just dark in there, yeah?
In the next room.
In the room that the trail of blood goes into.
From the corridor, you could... Give me a spot hidden. I need a hard success, though.
Yeah, I'm not going to shine my torch into it and make it obvious like that. I want to just see if I can see anything.
Yeah,
There's
a sliver of moonlight coming in through the little narrow windows near the ceiling.
Can I also do a spot hidden from the room dividing door?
Yeah.
I'll close my eyes for a minute, get them accustomed to dark, and then I'll peer in through the window. And that's an 18. That's a success.
I've got a hard success.
In fact, mine's a hard success as well.
Yes.
Great. So you both notice the figure stood in the far corner of the room with its back to you.
Blair Witch Project.
Exactly.
Fuck.
It's not moving.
Okay. I am going to hold off on going in for a moment and creep round to the other doorway where I can catch Sleep's eye.
I see him making hand signs at me. Which I think are just confirming what I can see.
I'll kind of beckon him over if he's a... Do you see the guy in the corner?
Yeah, I see him. I see the guy standing there.
Okay, we'll go in. We'll both be ready, just in case. We don't know what he's got in his hands. And then I'm going to go round to the other door again. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to open it up, shine the light with the torch straight at the figure.
And as he does that,
pointing the gun at him as well,
I kick the door open with holding my gun out as well, and I yell, "Freeze! Kirk's lead PI!"
BJ Mahoney, ex-cop.
Monty, you're stood next to Abner Wick.
Yes.
As soon as that just at the moment that happens, he turns to you and very quietly says, "I suddenly have a very bad feeling about this."
And as he says that, Steinway goes, "Oh my God, no! Excuse me, gentlemen. I think I'm going to be sick." And he dashes back up the corridor towards the entrance, towards Montrose.
And Abner then slightly more under his breath says, "I must tell you, Dr. Duckworth, I have a heightened olfactory sense, and I can tell you, I don't think there's another living person in this building." And then the figure that you're shining the flashlights on turns round.
Turn around, slowly. Keep your hands where we can see them.
Can you both give me sanity rolls, please?
Absolutely.
Awesome.
66 out of 47.
Mm-hmm.
50 out of 7.
50 out of fuck all.
Now, Kirk.
Now, Kirk.
There's a very real risk. There's a very real risk with this one.
Oh
my God.
Because you've seen this naked body has turned round, and it is the animate corpse of Charles Leiter, and it is covered in blood, especially around its mouth and hands. Its eyes are kind of... his burnt-out sockets where his eyes were glow faintly in the darkness. You both lose 4 sanity points of a possible 8. I mean, he'd surely turn the gun on himself.
It's so close now. It's so close to that moment.
I just hit indefinite insanity.
Yeah, of course you have. Yeah. I was thinking 4 was probably going to do it for Mahoney.
Of course you have. It's such a
just over.
Fuck yes.
In the interest of time, Dom, is it all right if as I'm running through, I grab Montrose and I say, "I'm so sorry, Dr. Montrose, would you give me a hand?"
And she allows herself to be pulled. She's looking down this corridor and continues to look as Dr. Steinweg pulls at her and finds her not resisting. Yes. Oh, are you all right, Doctor?
I want to get past Roche to a light source. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, Roach is just sort of stood in the corridor, just like looking grumpy.
So I guess we make our way past them. So it's Steinweg and Montrose, and then it's Wick and Roach, and Duckworth is still hanging about there, and then farther on, Sleep and Mahoney.
Yeah, so I'm imagining that we're at the back now.
Yeah.
Closest to the entrance to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Is that fair, Montrose?
Yeah.
But basically, my intention is to get as far away from Wick and Roach as I can, to whisper to Montrose and take these papers and say, "Don't ask me how I have them. Duckworth gave them to me. I think they are the papers. You must look at them."
And she does.
And then I imitate vomiting into a dustbin.
Okay.
Meanwhile,
Well, so Montrose, you're going to sort of study these papers to try and check their veracity.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm very sorry. I should have been dishing out Cthulhu Mythos this whole time, shouldn't I?
Everyone is out of
How many bouts of madness has everyone?
yeah, of course. Everyone's
2.
This is my first, so I guess that'll be 5 for me.
5.
Oh, yeah.
I think I've probably had. I think I might have had 4 bouts of madness.
So that's 8.
Yeah, Montrose went mad twice.
So that's 6.
Okay.
Cthulhu Mythos.
5 for the first one, 1 for every after, is it? Nice.
I believe so, yeah.
God, it's such a good system now, isn't it?
So, Dr. Montrose, you could do a Cthulhu Mythos roll if you want on these papers.
Well, she doesn't know what to expect
Fuck. With 6% chance.
and looks, whatever it is, the Meg is thrust into her hands. No, that's 85, so that's not anywhere near anything. If that was a sanity check, that is.
No, that's just a normal fail.
It's a fail across the board.
Did that not pass any skills for you?
85?
I deliberately thought, give it to the librarian. I'm a German. This is not my skill. I'm going to have to do an English language roll. Don't fucking do it.
Is that not even an own language success?
Well, I tell you what you can do instead then, Dr. Montrose. As nothing springs to mind as soon as you look at it, you can read them. It will require, I think, probably an English language roll. But if you're trying to check their veracity, that would be more like a hard occult or a hard appraise roll.
Yeah, based on the
Or even a hard history.
Yeah, I suppose she was looking to see at a glance if there was anything that sprang to mind from whatever, and there just isn't. I mean, that was a poor roll, unless I made another roll, but based on trying to kind of see at first glance whether or not there was something to this that was real and genuine. I don't know. I don't think so.
I'm happy to do it.
I'll do a second roll. Okay, right.
That isn't Cthulhu Mythos.
Yeah, that okay. Well, you referenced Cthulhu Mythos, and that was not okay. So a more academic based look. Okay, that is 43. So that would be what you're looking for.
Occult or appraise, really, but hard. I do.
Occult or appraise. Well, it wouldn't be.
Or a history, did you say?
I'll tell you what. Fuck it. I'm going to spend 18 points of luck to make that a pass on occult, which is 25.
Yeah.
That would be right, wouldn't it?
I feel like it's a big role for us as a team.
I feel it's a moment, and I feel there has to be something. And you know, she's been irritated at herself for the duration because she hasn't actually heard of the Autopsy papers. And you know, at that moment when she was in the spotlight, no, I have no idea what these are. But yeah, I will spend 18 luck, and I will make a pass. A normal.
Did you get that? It needs to be a hard, Doug, yeah?
Oh, really? On the occult? A hard occult?
Or history, or...
Oh, well,
appraise.
actually, that right, okay, I tell it, all right. No, sorry, a hard history, right, I hadn't got that. In fact, I will spend 13 points of luck, and that will be a hard history roll. So actually...
13 points of luck.
That's 5 points fewer.
Oof.
These are fakes.
Important.
Shit.
It's important. It's very important. It's fractured.
Fakes! It's a fake! She holds up, it's a fake!
And he says, Steinbeck says, broken geometry. Yeah, there's a flaw in the lines, a fault in the making of it. And he takes out some cocaine, and he doesn't bother putting it in his gums. He just shoves it up his nose now.
Do you actually shout that it's a fake?
Yes, I shout, I hold them up. Fake!
As you're saying that, Abner Wick suddenly is breathing down your neck.
Of course he is.
And his hand just reaches over and he tries to take the papers from you and he says, then I should be taking care of these, I think.
Did I travel with him? Or
If you want to.
well, I mean, I was with him, so I'll have followed him wherever he's going, silently stepping behind the others.
Yeah.
Phantom of the Opera creeping in the shadows.
As she's saying that, she's holding them, she crushes them. Fake! She got all of this for nothing! And she crushes them and throws them down on the floor.
Abner Wick he sort of looks down and he says, we should destroy them utterly.
What's happened here?
Before it's too late.
Why? What has this done? What have those done? She's pointing at the things on the floor.
The Hobhouse Papers were created to seal in something utterly foul. When Cecil Hunter created his forgeries, he accidentally broke the seal, and now it is released. If we don't destroy them and find the originals, it's only a matter of time before it gains power. So you see, handing these over to the university will not help us.
I see.
Roach has come over, and he's going, what's this about the university? If anything's being handed over to the university, it's going to be through me. Meanwhile, I think we should go into Deck's order.
Oh.
Yeah.
Tits.
Alrighty.
Madness order.
God, what is Wick going to do with these papers? I feel like if he has the papers, I'm really torn now. How close are you, Duckworth? You've sort of...
Well, they're false papers.
But he's always said he wanted them. He always said he wanted them.
That led me to believe they were real.
Yeah. And I assumed they were real when you handed them to me. And of course, now Montrose has said they're false, and I'm assuming they're now false. He's trusting.
So...
It's a nightmare.
Steinweg, you have one action. You don't necessarily know that you're in a perilous situation.
No,
but
I tell you what I'm thinking is Keeper of the Arcane Law, Mr. Dominic Allen. He's thinking he's going to go for his sword cane, but he sees Duckworth just hovering by Vic, and Roach is sort of slightly behind them. Is that right? They're not sort of crowding the papers yet. And
correct.
I got the impression that Wick can get these papers in a gesture. He can grab them, right?
We're right next to each other, I think, so yeah.
So I think I'm going to take a step towards the door and loosen my sword cane and just be ready to stop anyone leaving. Or help somebody leave. Or indeed leave myself. So I'm now very scared.
Keep your options open.
You're alert and ready to do something that involves leaving, or potentially not.
So, Abner Wick, he just bends down and picks up the papers that are on the floor, if no one stops him. What's Kirk doing?
I think...
Well, you tell me.
Yeah, Kirk's waiting for a...
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I interrupted. I apologise.
Kirk and BJ are
very patient.
both waiting for the nod.
The bad news.
Yeah, bad news, yeah.
Good luck.
Yes, the guillotine. Hammer to fall.
Oh dear.
So, Kirk, you walk into this... You're looking at this room, and even though you've been here before, and you've had a similar experience here before, you suddenly don't remember how you got here, or even who this person is that you're looking at. You don't remember anything, except I think the last thing you remember is being at Hibbs Roadhouse. You were
Philly cheesesteak.
Having a Philly cheesesteak.
I stood there in the room. I couldn't remember how I got there. Jeez. I didn't think I drank that much last night. But hey, I'd been hitting the hard stuff hard since my wife left me. Hadn't seen my kids for months. And then this figure was stood there in the corner of the room. Who was this jerk? What was he doing covered in blood? I held up my gun and I said, "Who are you?" And that's what I do. I just hold. I aim right at him, and I say, "Who are you?" Nobody asked. Yeah, sure, I got kids. I got 2 kids, boy and a girl. Nobody asked.
What does Duckworth do? What's he doing?
Well, if this is happening in front of me, I try to What's Abner doing?
He's bending down to pick up the papers that...
so it's all still in that same moment.
Yeah.
I don't do anything. Although I keep my eyes on him.
You can't turn them away, can you, really?
Can't close them.
Oh.
They must be so dry. Oof.
Yeah.
Dr. Montrose, what's your action?
She steps away from the papers, just shaking her head. Oh, for nothing. Fakes, but then... But what does that mean? She just has the sense that what Wick was saying was absolutely sincere. She believes him completely, and she just banks away with her eyes widening at a realization that something really dreadful has happened or is happening. And just backs away to the wall. No. She's not trying to stop him or to retrieve the papers in any way. Just...
PJ.
Deedly doodly do. Appears I'm still faster than the thing in the corner.
You hear Kirksleep strike up his monologue, and you realise he's fucked. And you see this thing before you that is just so anathema to everything that you believe. And immediately you remember back to just an hour or so earlier when you were stood in Unconsidered Trifles, telling Abner Wick that weird stuff happens every day. There's nothing that weird that's happened out of the ordinary. And the next thing you know, you're running down the corridor. You careen into the people who are stood there. Roach is in the way. You sort of push him out the way. Abner Wick's bending over. You kind of get sort of stuck behind his enormous mass. And he's like, "What are you doing?
Get out of my way! Get out of my way! I gotta get out of here! I gotta get out of here!"
Honey, what's the matter?
I'm gonna say that my flashlight and gun had dropped to the ground with a clatter, and I just turned on my heel and just started limping incredibly fast down the corridor. I'm just like, get out of my way! I gotta get out of here!
Something terrible's happened, Mr. Mahoney.
Oh my god! Mary! Oh god, Mary! Pushes past everybody and crash through the front door of the building and start running out into the night.
So presumably there's a 50-50 chance that I'm so wired on cocaine that I accidentally stab him.
Well, we'll deal with that on your next act. Because you are guarding the door.
Well, if I push you out of the way, then I think probably I'm going to need to make some sort of dex check, strength check to get past him if he's blocking the doorway.
Yeah. Well, let's do that then.
Yeah, or dodge roll. Should I make a dodge roll to try and kind of avoid it? In fact, I think I would just push him out of the way. I just think I'm just so kind of intent on getting out.
That sounds more like a brawl maneuver.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's just because I'm worried about losing the position. Steinweg is worried about losing the position, but also Joseph is worried about losing the position, and therefore creating. So I don't know. Maybe I could try and dodge, but not lose the position.
Yeah. No. You can. Yeah.
So I just kind of barge through the others, and then I try and push you out of the way and get through the door to the outside world. And that's a success. Normal success in a fight and brawl.
Is Steinweg fighting back or dodge?
I think he's probably going to dodge. Because he's not mad, so he sees in the last second that it's his companion of the last day, PJ Mahoney.
Only a day.
And there's been an intense bond formed between the two of them, even though I don't think he would necessarily count him as a friend. In this moment, I think he wants to be friends with this man and not stab him with a sword cane. And I pass by 1.
So you manage to dodge out of the way without getting... So you don't get injured by the push. You manage to keep your footing.
Dive off to the left.
But Mahoney gets out through... He's sort of going through the...
Mary! God, Mary!
Meanwhile, the corpse of Charles Leiter launches itself at Kirksleep.
Christ.
Oh, sleep.
Well, at least he's got a lot of sanity to spare.
Yeah, there is that.
There's a part of me that thinks Mahoney might become hall cop after all. He's out. And the rest of us just... Oh, God.
He's kind of limping as he goes.
So,
Are you fighting back or dodging?
Well,
What are you doing?
tell me, do I have any advantage by the fact that I have been aiming on my turn? I chose to aim my.
Oh yes, sorry. You should have gone first. Really.
Should I?
Yeah, if you've got an aimed weapon, you go first in the dex order. Well, you get
That's 50 dex, right, isn't it? Yeah.
That not be in the next round he gets the plus 50 dex because he's taken this round to actually take the.
Yeah, because this is.
Oh, you aimed in this round.
Yeah, I aimed in this round.
Sorry, I didn't.
Yes, yeah. Then so it'd be next round.
So I don't get anything. I don't get like a bonus die in my fight back or anything.
You can't fight back with a gun anyway, I don't think, unless you're just using it to club him on the head.
Yeah.
I see.
So you can do that.
That's exactly what I'll do. I'll try
Pistol whip.
but mind you that, and then I'll lose my aim advantage, won't I? I'm going to lose my aim advantage anyway. I've got a corpse running at me. Yeah, I'm going to attempt to pistol whip as he launches himself at me. I've got quite good fighting brawl. And I have rolled a hard success on it. I rolled 30 on the 65.
You can do damage because he doesn't get anywhere near you before you hit him.
Great, that's a 1d3 plus my damage bonus, which is a d4.
A successful fight back.
So 3 damage.
Okay. Yeah. So you you smack the disfigured face of Charles Leiter with your pistol. Harland Roach, not to be outdone.
I'm still next to him, right?
Yeah, but he draws a pistol
Of course he does.
on Abner Wick and says, "Those papers are coming with me."
I'd like to, I was assuming I was between them, in which case I'll certainly take a step aside and sort of circle round and sort of say, well, just like you are in the staff room, eh, Roach? Roach by name, Roach by nature.
Ooh, bravo, sir, bravo.
Roach is now sort of like not sure where to point the gun. What's Steinweg doing? You just sort of sidestepped Mahoney as he sort of runs for the door.
Yeah, so long as it's a sidestep and I'm not sort of sprawled, great. I think Wick I'm going to let go for now because I feel like he's a big fish. We need to try and work out more of his. But Roach I am worried about, so I think I draw my sword cane and point it at Roach. And I say, "That's enough, Professor Roach." Is it Dr. Roach or Professor? Professor Roach. I say to myself, is it Doctor or Professor? That it doesn't matter. That's enough. I have here Anthony's pendant, and I am accusing you of being in cahoots with him. I think that you are working with Flinders as some sort of terrible witchcraft group. You will put your gun down now.
This sounds like an intimidate.
Yeah.
With a bonus die for Duckworth's
Sheer horror.
mockery. And horror.
Barefaced mockery.
Obviously, I say this, and my hair is sort of wild and white, and it sort of makes me look a little bit like a kind of white-topped rotten carrot.
It's as if Einstein was having a go at you. You'd be freaked out.
I'm 5'6"
With a sword.
And I'm sort of slightly shaking as I'm doing this. So the 15% chance that I have to do this is it's the worst of my social skills. But I thought I'd try it.
Yeah, give it a go. I feel good for you. I think it's going to be a success.
Now, I feel like I have quite a strong idea of what goes horribly wrong here, Dom. I just take that extra step forward. And because the door's been open and all that stuff, there's a paper on the floor that I don't realise. And my foot just goes on it, and my foot goes out from under me, and my sword sort of catches in the air in a glorious moment, and then I just drop to the ground, and I drop the sword in a heap, as I've rolled a 97 on my intimidate.
Fantastic.
Your sword sails through the air and lands point down in the floor.
Yes, even better. No, let's say that's what happens. Through the moonlight, no doubt.
Yeah, great. Okay.
Sorry.
Abner Wick, as soon as that happens and Roach is distracted, Abner Wick goes for the gun.
I mean, after all this time, I still don't know whether either of those old boys are on our side or not. I think
no, they're not. No, yeah, I sympathise.
No.
I think Wick.
But at least they.
Either of them to have that.
It's helpful that they don't like each other, isn't it? That is helpful, but
Yeah. It's like the orcs and the Uruk-hai in Lord of the Rings. You know?
What's better, the idiot who's going to bring disaster upon everyone because he doesn't know what he's doing, or the evil genius who's going to bring disaster upon everyone because he does?
Well, I don't know that that's true.
Yeah.
I think Wick knows.
That sounds like the election for the leader of the Tory party.
I think Wick's certainly making all the right noises.
Wick didn't want the Hobhouse papers copied and the hex to be broken.
Well, that's what he told us. He didn't want.
That's what he told us, but he could be lying. But I don't know.
I think he's right about the hex, but the problem is that I think he has ulterior motives.
Oh yeah, he probably does. But yeah, I'm sure he's right.
He smells dead people.
I don't know, but you see, Wick might have good intentions about the Hobhouse papers. He might just have all sorts of terrible intentions
about his cult of ghouls that he has underneath.
I was going to say he's got
homunculus.
Ghouls for manservant.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
As a ghoul.
We're so fucked.
Yeah, that's probably.
Mahoney's in the best place right now. That's what we're saying.
He did mention that he has a shadowy buyer for the papers, but he was not willing to reveal that. He only said that they were foreign.
Oh. Cut to Cairo. Yeah. Does anybody here speak English?
Cut to Steinweg in a fez.
Possibly somewhat further away than Egypt, but
yes, yeah. Does anybody here speak Aklo?
Got to Steinweg's brain in a jar.
Try to hold it together, guys.
Oh dear.
If it's any consolation, I don't think the Migo would take any of your brains in the state they're in.
Yes.
Take that, alien scum. We're too stupid for your brain, Joe.
So Abner Wick launches himself at Roach, and a struggle ensues, and it looks like Roach has got the upper hand, and then he pries the gun out of Roach's hands. Kirk Sleep, what do you do? You've got a zombie in your grill.
Just another day for sleep.
Well, I shoot him. I don't know whether shooting zombies works, but I don't know he is a zombie. I've never seen him before.
Are you aiming for his head?
Wait,
or for
hang on. My last memory was in the Hobbs House Roadhouse. The Hibbs House. What? The Hob House Bakery. What is it?
Hip Hop Hob House.
The Hibbs Bakery. What? No, the Roadhouse. In a steak shop. So I did see this guy's corpse, so I do know this guy is a dead man, and he looks like a corpse.
Make a sanity roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember anything, so I have to do another sanity roll.
Sanity roll's over and over.
I will. I think the next one will be the last. I shoot him. I fire.
So you can have a bonus die
Should hope so too.
Point blank. But are you aiming for somewhere specific, or are you just shooting?
The way you ask that makes me think like I might gain something by it. Well, I mean, the head seems. If I aim somewhere specific, am I going to get a penalty die? Or are you just asking me?
Yeah, no. Well, I'm both.
I don't think I'm aiming anywhere specific. I think I'm just firing. I'm going to just fire. I'm going to fire indiscriminately.
Got your multiple shot option as well. Don't forget if you want to release 3.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to release 3 shots. I'm going to release 3 shots without aiming with my bonus die.
So you'll get your penalty die for firing 3.
Oh, of
and you'll
course
get your
I will.
bonus die for being point blank. So they'll just be straight rolls.
Fine. 3 straight rolls.
Sleep, it all comes down to this.
That's 1 success.
Yes.
That's 1 extreme success.
Ooh.
And that's 1 hard success. So 1 regular, 1 hard, 1 extreme.
Hopefully blow it away.
Come on.
Stream.
Gonna be.
Kirk, Sleep, PI. 1 more mission.
Well, let's do the extreme first. If you roll your damage for that one,
So my damage is 5,
plus the maximum that it could be,
which is 12, so 17.
Okay, so you fire indiscriminately 3 times into this revenant. Bits of viscera and chunks of rotting flesh sort of blow out of its chest cavity, out of its hip, and finally you shoot it in the jaw. Its head explodes up the wall, and what remains of it just collapses onto the floor in a real big pile of mess.
Beautiful.
So poetic.
Ordinarily, that would be a sanity roll, but not.
But you're in the midst of a bout of madness,
I am.
so I don't think you get one. It's a goner.
Basically, Sleep never goes into that morgue without firing 3 shots.
I fired 3 shots into the crazy corpse-looking motherfucker, and his jawbone flew up, hit the ceiling, hit the floor. Normally, I would have felt like maybe it would have sent me crazy, but something told me I was already crazy.
Danann, what's Ducky doing?
So, I was standing between Wick and Roach, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, what's their...
They've had a tussle, and Wick has managed to pry the gun away from Roach.
Excellent. In which case... And is he pointing the gun at Roach?
Yeah, probably is, actually.
In which case I twist...
And he's saying,
Yeah.
calm down!
I twist the handle of my cane and I pull out my sword cane. 2 sword canes in one scenario. It's too many. And I sort of level it between the 2 of them and say, be calm, gentlemen. I'll take the papers.
They're 2 contradictory instructions, aren't they? Be calm.
Yeah.
I'll take the papers.
But I'm trying my luck.
There's an order. There's a sequence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So let's see. Abner's got the papers and a gun.
Because Abner has already told... Well, no, Abner hasn't said anything, but my initial appraisal was that these papers were real, and I've since discovered that they probably aren't.
Yeah.
But either way, they seem powerful, so I don't really want anyone else to have them.
Abner says, my dear doctor, I think your sword arm would be better used on whatever your colleagues are dealing with in the morgue.
Oh, yes? And what's that?
I dread to think.
Do you?
But I'm sure we'll find out soon enough.
Do you dread to think? It seems like you know exactly what it is. And I turn the sword towards him.
Oh. What's Dr. Montrose doing?
Dr. Montrose, do we possibly hear 3 gunshots around about this point? But when he's ran, and there's been the tussle in the doorway, and then blam, blam, blam. Mm-hmm. Montrose says, I think he's right. Dr. Duckworth, these fakes, they've done something terrible. She points down the corridor. Listen, they need to be destroyed. They need to be destroyed.
Yes, perhaps they do. Have you a lighter, Dr. Montrose?
Oh, scheiße, mein back. Oh, no.
Dr. Snape, give me a lighter, quick.
I scrabble around looking for my lighter
She
as
leans
quickly as
down,
possible.
Takes it off Steinweg, Zippo of some kind, flicks it. Mr. Rick, hold those papers out. If you're not lying.
He does so. Burn them.
And she holds the lighter to set them ablaze.
Yeah.
As the fire catches on the edge of the papers, it begins to burn and smoulder, and then the fire goes kind of this sort of electric green and orange, and suddenly becomes incredibly intense, and the entire room lights up very bright. And Wick sort of throws them to the floor. Even Roach is momentarily sort of dumbfounded by this. And PJ.
Aha, yes.
You sort of come to your senses, having jogged out of the morgue.
Jogged.
Yeah, and you sort of bend double with your hands on your knees and sort of try and catch your breath in the cold night air in the moonlight.
Oh, Mary Mother, Jesus! Oh, what was that? Oh.
And you look up and see a figure walking towards you. They're silhouetted in the moonlight at first. They're walking very slowly towards you.
Hello? Who's there? Who's there in the dark?
No response comes.
Hello? Who's that? State your name.
Then you look up into the mangled face of Anthony Flinders. This was an Apocalypse Players production. For more information about the podcast, go to apocalypseplayers.com. Thanks for listening.
Hang on, I think I've had more than 4 bouts of... I think I had 1. I think I've had 6. I think I had... And the one I'm about to have. Because I had 1 in the morgue last time we came here, and then I had 1 in the cottage, and then I had 1 at the asylum.
How many locations have we been to? Because that's the minimum number of alcohol.
And then, yeah.
There's been
and
one.
then I had 1 when I with the animal thing, and then I had 1 when I started screaming in the car. So that's 5, and then plus this one.
Did you have one when we were first looking around the office and we saw the painting on the wall and stuff?
No, I didn't see the painting. No, the first one was in the morgue.
So is that 6?
So if I'm having one right now, which I am, 6 is 6. So that's 10 points of mythos, right?
10 points of Cthulhu Mythos.
What a way to get them, though.
Jings. Yeah, will you ever be able to use them when you reach 0 sanity in about 5?
Well, that's a very good question.